Have you ever wondered how Microsoft 365 Copilot can access and work data while keeping it secure and compliant? So in this session, we'll help you understand the architecture, security and compliance feature behind Microsoft 365 Copilot. So let's get started.
What will be the agenda? First, we'll see that how your Copilot uses your data. Because when we give any sort of a prompt, let's say I want to get an email. So what you do, you just give a prompt and it give your response. How the data is classified, whatever I'm giving in the Copilot, everything it get exposed to Copilot. So how I can protect my information. And when we go on the protection steps, first level will be your data classification. How the Copilot or SharePoint sites or Word or PowerPoint, how they will know, okay, this document is my confidential data. After classifying the data, we'll discuss the data protection, how we can protect the data from exposure. Let's say you are writing an email, and in that particular email, you have added the salary slip, and that salary slip is a confidential, and you are sharing that file to your manager, and you want to restrict the employee or the manager from downloading it. How you can stop it with the help of the data protection. If I'm having a contract, if I'm having the budget files, how I can restrict the Copilot to access that data. So the second step that we will discuss will be your data protection. Moving ahead on the third step, we'll discuss the DLPs. That when the data will be transmitting, maybe outside the organization or traveling inside the organization, how you can restrict your employees to send that information, maybe to your co-pilot, maybe to your SharePoint site, maybe to your vendors, contractors, everyone. So if you want to learn all these concepts, stay tuned till the end. Maybe you will be the lucky person who will get the voucher as well. So let's wait for a couple of seconds and then we will be starting the session. I request all of you to call your friends, to call your colleagues to learn how the co-pilot is working, how the data classification is taking place, how we can protect our information, protect the information from sending outside the environment, how we can overall be able to perform the information protection, whether you are sending it on any of the GenAI tool. Let's say I'm sending the information on ChatGPT, I'm sending the information on Gemini, I'm sending the information on the Copilot, how we can restrict all those things to happen in our organization. So stay tuned till the end and take the benefit of this exciting session. Now, one question to you all, like when you give the prompt, let's say I have given the prompt, I want to write an email. So how it process your data? If you know the answers, you can just comment your answers in the comment area. How your data is being processed, how your co-pilot will know, okay, this data I can access, this data I can't access. Or let's say you're working as a sales manager, you are working as a security person, you want to access XYZ file. So will you be able to access it if it's not stored in your system? Yes, no, you can just give the answer in the chat box. So the first question that I asked to you is how your co-pilot access your data. Now, when we go on the accessibility of your data, we have some steps. First, what you'll do, you will write the user prompt. Let's say I want to generate email for leave. Let's say I have given this prompt in my Copilot. Now, what Copilot will do with the help of the Microsoft Graph. Now, what is Microsoft Graph? You can comment your answers in the chat box. What is Microsoft Graph? So, talking about Microsoft Graph, Microsoft Graph is basically, we can say, give you the connectivity across your M365 services. It's a kind of an API which will fetch the data from your SharePoint, from your Teams, from your Outlook, from your Word, from all across your M365 services. After fetching the data, it will give you the response. Let's say you are Akash. You asked and you give this user prompt to your Copilot. Now it will give you the answer accordingly. It will write the answer like, "Hi, hope you are doing well. I want to take a leave," and so on, and giving the response for the same. And that response, trust me, is secured. Copilot uses the security in the environment. Whatever policies are being set up by your compliance tool, it will follow. Let's say I have one file, okay, and that particular file is your legal file. If Akash or if any of the employee don't have the access to this file, your Copilot will also don't have the access. So whatever access you will be having, only that particular access will be given to your Copilot. Now, once you have given any sort of a prompt and it is able to access that information, that prompt, and you get the response, and if you want any modifications, you can give that modifications. Let's say I have given the modification for this email that word limit should be 50 words. So it will redefine it, it will reframe your email and give you the response over it. Now, for using the Copilot, you should have the license. Whether it's your M365 license, if you have an add on license on Copilot, that also works. But license will be required. Now, what license will be required? Either you can go with M365 license, you can have your business license, you can have your A3 license, A5 license, E3, E5, and so on. And based on the license, you will get all the capabilities what your Microsoft offers to you. Now, I have one more question to you, which will be posted in your chat box also. Like, is data security will be required when we are going with the Copilot? If you think yes, you can just give the answer in the poll box. It's important. If you are not sure, you can give not sure. Highly important. Is data security will be required when we use the Copilot or not? You can post your answers in the comment area. Now let's consider I have the Copilot, I have the license, I have the appropriate rules and regulations, and I'm following each and everything. But how your data will be secured? How or who will be securing your data? Which governance tool I will be using? Does anyone know which data governance tool we use? That is Purview. Now, Purview is the M365 tool which is given by the Microsoft, which help you to protect your information, to protect your data. Present anywhere, present on any of the Microsoft location or non-Microsoft location. But the integrity, or we can say the integration, will be required. For that, you will be creating the sensitivity labels, you will be creating the classifiers, you will be giving the roles, you will be creating the conditional access. For example, when it comes to the conditional access basically means that who will have the access to my resources even after having the license. Let's say I have the license, but still I don't have the access to Copilot, or only the devices which are compliant to my organization should have the license. So the conditions can be many. You can give the condition on the basis of IP, on the basis of the location, on the basis of the device, on the basis of, let's say, some application on which your resources either be accessible or not. We can consider one more scenario. Let's say the employees or the people will have the access to my Copilot, but they need to go through the MFA. They need to they need to have their device compliant. So all these settings are already done. Now, if you ask me where they are done, they are done on your intra portal. Now, when we talk about intra portal, again, it will be your M365 service. Now, talking about the cap, which is the most important when we talk about the information or identity protection. Now, conditional access policy is also known as cap, where either you are granting the access to your employees or you are blocking the access on the basis of, let's say, user identity, maybe on the basis of the location, maybe on the basis of certain applications, devices, network, or the risk level. You can restrict or you can allow your users. Let's say the people who are residing in USA will not have the access to my Copilot, or the people who are using Mac OS devices should not have the access to my Copilot. You can easily do that. But for doing it, as I said, the license will be required on your intra. So for using your intra service, you will be required the license and the role. Now, when we talk about the license, either you can have E3 license or E5 license. Similarly, role, either you can have the global admin role, you can have a conditional access role if you are just concerned with the conditional access, or let's say I'm working on security, so you can have security admin role also. But whatever role you are assigning, best practice, always go with least privilege access. Now, what is least privilege access? Giving the access to any of the person on the basis of your JIT and JEA. Now, what is JIT? JIT basically means just in time. For example, a marketing person came to you and he said that I want the access to the Copilot, or I want the access to your intra service. I want to create certain policies. So for that, I can give only 2 hour access, or maybe you can give for 1 hour according to your requirement. Similarly, when it comes to the JEA, JEA is your just enough access. Now, when we talk about just enough access, it means, let's say, a person is there working in an IT team and he came to you and asked that I want to read the logs. Or a person who is working on Defender or Sentinel, they came to you and asked that I want to read the security logs. For that, only the reader level access should be given. So the access, whatever you are giving, should follow JIT and JEA. Now, how these roles will be given, how the services works, for that license and role will be required, and you can learn more on it via going in their respective certification course. You can deep dive in it. Now, our agenda is, first we'll create a conditional access policy. Now, as I said, conditional access policy will be created on your intra. Now, when we say intra, we need to navigate to your intra. How we can do that? Let me take you to the portal. So to navigate to your intra, which will be your intra.microsoft.com, you can come up here. It will look like this. You can have a view, all the resources, all your identities will be there. So intra is one of your IAM tool, which is identity and access management. Like if you have heard about domain controllers, this is another IAM tool for your on-prem. Similarly, for your cloud, we are using Intra. Previously, it was known as the Azure Active Directory. Now, what I'll do, I'll just scroll down and I go in the information protection and I'll go in the risk-based conditional access. Now, when I come up here on this particular location, I'll go in the policies. I'll create one policy to block my users for using Copilot. Let's say block access to Copilot. And I can choose the users for whom I am creating it. So we can select the respective users. Let's say I'm going with the edit. Select that particular user. Now, if you want to define the network, let's say I'm defining the network, people who reside in USA or the employees who are residing in Australia should be restricted. For that, first your location should be added up here. Then only you will be able to add your location. Then comes the targeted resource. What will be your targeted resource? In our case, it is your Copilot. If you want to go with all the cloud applications, you can easily go here. You can just, if you are going with the selective one, you can just select here, choose that specific resource and search, let's say, I'm going with all your Office 365 tools. You can select those resources, select them after selecting the resource. Scroll down and come up here on blocking the access or giving the access. If you're blocking the access, you can just click on block and it will block the access for your users. If you are granting the access, you can just select the grant and let's say if I'm granting the access, I want MFA, I want authentication strength, I want my device should be compliant or it should be an Microsoft Intra hybrid joint device or application protection policy should be there, password change should be there, and so on. And you can restrict your users on the basis of the specified conditions, whatever you have set up. Now, once that condition is set up, let's say I have blocked for office applications or I have blocked my Copilot accessibility. If the user is trying to do it, its log will be generated. And the security team can have a look, okay, Akash is trying to access Copilot or Akash is trying to access any of the Office application. So the accessibility will be restricted then and there. Now you have restricted the user, you have allowed the user. Second step that comes into the picture will be your information protection. That how we will be protecting the data to be deployed on my Copilot or on any of the tools. So as I said, first step that we will be going with will be your data classification. Second step that will move ahead will be your data protection. Then we'll go on the prevention, setting up the retention if you want to set up like the data lifecycle. And then all the things when they are done, seeing the logs, if any user is trying to do, the security team will come and they will let you know, okay, this person is doing this, and accordingly you can set up it. Now, this whatever we have learned till now, we have seen how your conditional access policies are working. restricting the access or granting the access. Then we have seen how the Copilot is accessing your data. So let's have our first question, which is Microsoft Copilot access in an organization is primarily controlled using RBAC roles, conditional access policies, security defaults only, or Defender for endpoint policy. If you want to become a lucky winner, you need to fulfill all these three conditions, which means first you need to answer all the questions correctly, follow our LinkedIn page, and like our post. So I'm waiting for 2 seconds for you to answer this question. You can just give your answer, which how your Microsoft Copilot in an organization accessibility can be controlled using the RBAC roles, using the conditional access policies, security defaults, or Microsoft Defender for endpoint policies. You can give your answer. Okay, moving ahead, now we'll understand how the information protection happens. Now, when I say information protection, first you should know which data you want to protect. The legal files, you want to protect your employee information, you want to protect the budget files, you want to protect, let's say, some discrimination files, you want to protect the legal, finance. There are huge amount of data which requires certain protection. Every day the data is generating. Every day you are going on the client calls. The data is there. Information is flowing. So first you will be required to know your data. That which data will be protected. After knowing your data, then only you will be allowed, or then only you will be able to protect that data. Then you can apply the prevention on that respective data, and you can govern its life cycle also. For example, if let's say I'm having the accessibility to certain file, how long I can access it, all the things from starting from the knowing your data till your data governance will fall under your information protection framework. Now, first step is to know your data, which means data classification. Now, when we go on classifying your data, we have two methods. Either you can go with the SITs or you can go with the trainable classifiers. Now, when we go on the SITs basically used when you want to detect the structured pattern. Let's say I want to detect credit card, I want to detect debit card details, I want to detect Aadhaar card details, I want to detect Form 16. I am having certain format. Let's say I want to go with contracts. Then we can go with the SITs. If your data is unstructured, you want to analyze the data, then we go with the trainable classifiers. Let's say some harassment is going on that you want to classify. You want to do on the budget, you want to do on let's say some sort of a discrimination, that information you want to classify, that you can go with the help of the trainable classifiers, which works on your machine learning. So first you need to train your model and then start using that model in the environment. Let's have a look on the given portal. Now, as I said, these all are the part of your data protection. So it can be done on your Purview portal, which is your data governance portal. So if I come on the Purview, you can also navigate using purview.microsoft.com. Now, for navigating here to use and to create certain policies, you will be required the license and the role. Once you have both the features, you can easily use your Purview service. Now, first step is the data classification. Now, what I'll do, I'll just go in the solutions, and if I scroll down, I will get the option of information protection. If I come up here, we have classifiers. First, we'll see SITs. which is your sensitive information type to classify your structured data. If we come up here, let it be loaded. Yeah, you can see we are having 327 SITs already created from the Microsoft and other services. You can see up here, you want to use them, you can use on your own. They are ready to use, and there is no sort of requirement that you want to modify it. You need to do certain changes. No, ready to use at SITs. You can see physical addresses. You will be able to see IPs, credit card, debit card. These you will get here. Auth keys, access keys, Azure Function Master, APIs, connection strings, shared access key, and so on. If you want to create your own custom SIT, you can come up here and create your own custom SIT. Now, when you create your own custom SIT, you should know how to write the regular expression. You should know the dictionaries, you should know the list, and then you can create your SIT here. If you are having certain pattern, let's say form 16 is fixed everywhere, or certain documents are there which have a fixed pattern, you can go with the fingerprint. Now, if I give a name, let's say I'm giving, I want to classify the employee data. So same description. Going on the next, now choose the pattern. Confidence level will tell how confident you are while classifying your information. Primary element, as I said, you should know how to write the regular expressions. You should know how to write or give the keyword list. If, let's say, someone have taken a leave and the reason is a viral, so you can give the list like what things will come under viral, maybe fever, cold and cough, headache, body ache, which will classify your those parameters. You want to give keyword dictionary, you can give a keyword dictionary. You want to give go with functions, you can go with the functions and create your own SIT. Once you create your own SIT, second step will be protecting that SIT or protecting that information which will be classified with the help of these SITs. Similarly, we have trainable classifiers also. Now, when we say trainable classifiers, they are built on the machine learning models. Let this be loaded. Meantime, we have EDMs also, which is your exact data match. Let's say I want to fetch Akash data, I want to fetch Nikita's data, I want to fetch Bhavesh data, I want to fetch Shraddha's data. I can easily go with the EDMs, where your data is stored in the form of tables. In that way, we go with the EDMs where we know which data we want to classify, which data you want to search. For the trainable classifiers, as I said, these will be built on the machine learning. There are 114 items which already been created from the Microsoft. You can use them, like your agreements are there, bank statements are there, budgets are there, business plan, credit report, and so on. Once your classifiers are ready, second step will be your data protection. Now, when we go on the data protection, we will be creating the sensitivity labels. Now, for example, my information is I have classified it will contain your credit card. So I need to apply a label on it. Okay, this is a confidential file. This is a highly sensitive file. This is a, we can say, a secret file. You can apply the labels. Now, whatever label you will be applied, whatever controls you will give, accordingly, your information will work. Let's say I want to classify one document or the information and it contains your credit card. I have applied a label Let's say it's your confidential. Then I can restrict my employees to download it, to save it, to edit it, and give the restricted access. Let's say he can only view my data. He can't download, he can't forward that data. I can restrict those information. If I want to apply encryption on that information, I can easily apply the information. I can easily do the encryption. If I want to apply header, if I want to apply footer, I want to apply watermarks, that can be done with the help of the sensitivity labels. The document which have that sensitivity label will go with these things. Now, sensitivity labels also can be applied in two ways, where either you can go manually or automatically. Now, how to do it? Let's have a look on the portal. Now, if I come up here in the information protection only, we will get the option of sensitivity labels. We'll just jump on it. Now, here you can see I'm having five labels already been created. First is the confidential finance, highly confidential, project, personal, and public. If you want to create your own, you can just go here, give it a name. Let's say I want to create secret, giving the name as secret, description, secret. Going on the next, now where you want to apply those labels. Files, emails, meetings, and so on. Choose them. Give the access control you want to apply, content marking, you want to do it on Teams meeting. But for the Teams meeting, you should have a Teams premium license. Let's say I'm going with the control access. Going on the next, now choosing the options. Assign permissions, you want to assign it or you want your users to assign it when they want to apply it, you can just choose it. You want this user access should expire or not, that also you can choose it on a specified date or on maybe never. You want to give offline access or not, and then setting up the permissions. For whom? Maybe for all the users or the selected users. Choose that users. Now, by default, the person will have the editor access. If you want to change it, you can just come up here, go in the custom and choose the option. I only want to give view rights. I only want to give edit rights. I only want to give print rights. You can choose all those options. Now, the documents or the information which have that label will work according to these. If you have applied a label on a contract, it will work on that. If you applied a label on your, let's say, the email, it will work accordingly. If you have stopped the reply option or forward option, the employees can't forward that mail. The employees can't reply on that mail. You can easily stop or give the access. Once you have given it and your sensitivity label is created, go on the next. You want to go with auto labeling or you be applying a manually. So suggested that always go with the auto labeling so that if the employee or the user forget to apply the label, your documents or the information will automatically be labeled. Now, how the auto labeling works? With the help of the data classifiers, which we have created in the last step. You can add the content contains and then add the SIT, whether it will be having your SIT or trainable classifier. Let's say it will be having SIT. Choose that particular SIT and create that label. Now, any information, maybe on your Teams, maybe on your Meet, Outlook, SharePoint sites, which have the SIT, which have that sensitive information, automatically the label will be applied on it and the information will work accordingly. Once your labels are created, till now we haven't stopped the access. We just created the labels, we have classified the information. Third step, will be your creating the DLPs. Till now, Copilot can access your information. It will not stop it. In the DLPs, we will stop employees to put that information on your Copilot. How to do it? As I said, first step, prioritize your data, classify your data, then label your data, create the policies, run those policies, train your users, check whether the policies are working fine or not. If there is some improvements required, tune those policies and do the improvements. Now, how to create the DLPs? Let's go once again on the portal. And in the solution section, we have DLPs. Now, when we come on the DLPs, go in the policies, create a new policy. Now you are going with enhanced, financial, medical and health, privacy, custom. So our concern will be the custom one. Going here, going on the next, keeping the name as default. Now going on the next, for whom you are creating it. So you can define the admin units here. Now where you will be doing. Exchange, SharePoint sites, accounts, teams, channels, devices. My concern is the Copilot and Copilot chat. So I will be using this feature, going on the next, and then creating the rule. Which information you want to stop for being uploaded on your Copilot. So let's say I have given this one, credit card details. You can come up on the condition, the content will contains. Now what it will contain? SITs or sensitivity labels. If you are going with sensitivity labels, you can choose your sensitivity label. Any document, any information containing your personal as a label, you can add it. If you want more conditions, like you want trainable classic sensitivity type also, you can add those also. And then what action you want to perform. Restrict Copilot from processing that content. Now, whatever DLPs you will set, whatever retention you will set, whatever classifiers you will set, whatever sensitivity labels you will set, Copilot will respect it and follow it. So if I stop your Copilot from processing this content, your Copilot will not process it. It will not give you the response for the same. So you need to make sure what access, what policies you are setting up in your environment. If I just create these policies, I want to block it. Now it will block my users. If you want alerts, you can create the alerts and so on. After that, just save it, scroll down and go on the next. You always suggested that always try the policy in a simulation mode first and then turn on the policy so that if any changes you want to do, you can easily do it. Then go on next, see the information, see the details, and click on submit. Now, once you click on submit, any policy you create, let's say I'm creating an IRM, I'm creating a DLP policy, it will take 24 hours. So after your 24 hours, your policy will be in effective state. And it will be restricting, it will be stopping your employees to do that stuff. Click on done. Now your policy is created. Now it will take time to sync in your environment. If you see here, I'm getting the option sync in progress. Now this syncing at most take 24 hours. Once its syncing is done, you can start using this custom policies. You can test this policy in your environment. Now, once this is done, once your policy is being set up, next step that we will be doing is a data governance. Now, when we talk about data governance, setting up the life cycle of your data. You need to create the retention labels, like say the data should be accessible for 2 years, the data should be accessible for 3 years. Or the retention policy will work on the locations. Let's say SharePoint, let's say Outlook, all the emails in the Outlook you can access till 2 years, you can access till 3 years. So you can set all these things. Now comes the next question of the day, which is a user asks Copilot to summarize the document containing credit card numbers. The organization wants Copilot responses to avoid exposing the sensitive data automatically. What should be the primarily used to achieve this? You need to create conditional access policy, sensitivity labels with encryption, DLP policy with sensitive information classifiers, or defender for endpoint. So to become a lucky person or lucky winner, you need to follow these three things. You should answer all the questions correctly, follow our LinkedIn page, and like the post. So I'm waiting for 2 seconds. You can just give your answers and then we'll move ahead. So I hope you all have given the correct answer. Now, which policy I want to create, which policy I should create, how I can maintain my security posture, how I can maintain or monitor the user activity, everything is given by your DSPM, Data Security Posture Management. Now, in our case, we will be talking for AI, which policies you should create, because our data, whatever you are accessing, your Copilot will also access them. So, which prompts are safe, which prompts you should not give, which policies you should create, how you should restrict the users will be possible with the help of DSPM. DSPM will give you the recommendations, how you can improve your security posture, how you can evaluate your AI behavior. For doing that, let's have a look on the portal. If I go here and under the solutions, we have DSPM for AI. Just come up here and go in the recommendations. Now in the recommendations, you will get fortify your data security, detect unethical behavior in AI apps. For doing that, you need to create these policies. You need to detect the unethical behavior. You need, let's say, I want guided assistance for AI regulations. You need to create these policies. You need to monitor the logs. You need to monitor the AI interactions. You need to flag the communications. Everything you can easily do it with the help of the DSPM for AI. It will give you recommendations and accordingly you can create the policies. Let's say detect the risky interaction. Use Copilot and agents to improve your data security posture. So all the things you can do with the help of DSPM for AI. Now, if you want to deep dive into this session, if you want to deep dive in this course, learn more on it, I'm sharing, or my team will share one course link with you, which will be your Prepare Security and Compliance. If you want to learn this course, you can easily learn it. The product which will be required will be on M365. Level will be the intermediate. Roles will be this. And the subject will be this one. You can AI and everything will be required. What you will learn in this particular course, what is Microsoft M365 Copilot, how you can manage the access for your users, how you can manage the permissions, how you can deploy your M365 applications for enterprise, how you can implement the purview, how you can implement the sensitivity labels, M365 extensibility, and so on. You can walk through it, you can learn from this particular MS Learn. Now, when all these things will go on, first step we have seen that we need to create the classifiers. Then we have seen that we need to protect the data, then applying the basically the DLPs, and then setting up the retention. So after doing all these things, after setting up the all the things, the DLPs, we have created the policies with respect to your DSPM, your security posture is also improved. You have fulfilled the checklist, which means you have reviewed the information, like what data you will be protecting. You have applied the sensitivity labels on it. You have validated the information, and you have trained your users also that how they can go and how they can use their information in their environment. So the third question will be, which Microsoft tool is used for AI governance and data protection? Microsoft Teams, Microsoft Purview, XDR, or Microsoft Fabric? You can answer the question. I will be waiting for 2 seconds. I hope you have answered the question. Now, regarding the certificate, so you all will get the link in your comment area. You can check it. When you click on that particular link, you will be landed on this page. So you need to sign in with your Microsoft ID. Suggested to go with the personal IDs. When you come up here, this pop-up message will be there. If it's not coming in your environment, you can just refresh your screen. After that, click on redeem. Once you click on redeem, you will get a message, we have added your achievement to your profile. Just close it, come to your profile by clicking up here and come to your profile. In the profile section, you will get the option of achievements. Now, once you come in the achievements, and if you go in the courses, you will get your respective certificate here. You can easily see your certificate and you can post it on your LinkedIn or any other social networking site. So this is all from my side. If you want to learn more, you can easily learn more. If you want the trainings on security or any of the other domains like AI, you can come to our site. You can log in, you can learn it, and you can upskill yourself.
So we have discussed that how we can create the classifiers. Then after creating the classifiers, we need to create the sensitivity labels for the given data set, for the given data which we want to protect. After creating its sensitivity labels also, we need to create its DLP so that if any data is moving out, we can restrict that data. After creating the DLPs, we need to create its retention, which means its life cycle. So all these four steps till now we have discussed, from creating the classifiers till the retention of your data. Now moving forward, we'll discuss that how we can control our users to search any sort of data. Let's say if I want to give a prompt, kill Ramesh, or we can give how I can kill Ramesh. Will I be able to do that? If any sort of restrictions is not there, yes, you can do that. If I want to search, let's say, how I can harass Aditi. So Copilot will give me all the results by giving this prompt. So I want my users to restrict this. I want my employees, if they are searching any sort of this data, it can be controlled. And how it can be controlled? With the help of communication compliance. So in Microsoft or in Purview, we can say we have two communication compliance that come into the picture. First one is your e-discovery. e-discovery, and second one is your communication compliance. Let's say any of your contractors, let's say I'm working cloud at, and one of the vendor is TCS. Now, one of the employee of TCS complains that this particular person is harassing me or my data is not protected. What we can do, we can go with the e-discovery. Now, what will happen in the e-discovery? You all know that how the court cases are running. Similarly, in e-discovery also, we will create one case. Let's say leakage of sensitive data. After creating the case, we will give the data sources from where you want to see. You want to see from the SharePoint sites, you want to see from the Teams, you want to see from the Outlook, from where you want to search for this particular leakage. After giving the data sources, we will keep the communication on hold. Now, what does it mean? It means, let's say, you are communicating with me and we are doing or we are leaking some sort of sensitive data. So it will lock that information so that if I want to do some changes, if I want to do some editing, it won't be possible. Then the hold will come. After the hold is done, after getting all the evidences, it is passed to your maybe HR team, maybe your compliance team, maybe to your security team. Then they will take the action. So e-discovery works when you are doing the data leakage or any sort of a case is registered between your company and the another company. But when we talk about communication compliance means when something mishap happen in within your organization. If someone is trying to do, let's say Ramesh is harassing to Aditi, both are the employees of my organization and they are doing that you want to control, will go with the communication compliance tool. Or let's say your manager is bullying you. In that particular scenario, we will go with the communication compliance to check the communication between you and your manager and then giving the appropriate evidences to the compliance team, to the maybe HR, maybe legal, and then they will be taking the appropriate action on the same. Now, what we'll discuss in this particular scenario will be a communication compliance, identify when communication review will be needed, and the basic reviewer actions. Now, first we need to identify on which data you want to do it. You want to do it on sensitive data, you want to do it in threat-based data, you want to see for the discrimination, which sort of data you want to do the compliance, on which data you want to investigate it. Then understanding that why the item was flagged, why that communication is being registered as a flagged one. And then with the help of the compliance team, we will check that, okay, this particular information is an harassment or not. Let's say if I give a statement, meet me outside. Now, what does this statement will mean to you? If I will go to the system perspective, it can be a harassment, it can be an order, or it can be a general statement also. So a human reviewer will be required for this thing. Who will check, who will review the information and find what was the intent of that communication. And then supporting the workflows, which means like giving all these sort of evidences, doing the audit, doing the searching, and then combining all your data to protect, to do the proper investigation so that the culprit will get its punishment. Now, what we'll do, first we will view the message, then we will flag it so that on the later stage we can review on it. If you want to add some sort of a notes on it, let's say right now Ramesh is from the compliance team and in the later stage Aditi was there. So she can get to know why he has flagged this information or why this information is taken under the consideration. And then if the problem is solved, marking the item as resolved. So these four stages come into the picture when we talk about communication compliance. Now, Let's see on the portal that how we can do the communication compliance. Yeah. So this was your secure purview portal. So once we navigate here, we'll go in the solutions. When we come into solution, you can see audit, you can see communication compliance. So these three plays a key role when we talk about the communication. Now, whosoever is doing the communication compliance, whosoever is doing the e-discovery, they should have the appropriate role. Once they have the appropriate role, then only they will be able to do that. Otherwise, no. So first we'll go in the communication compliance. Now when we come in the communication compliance, let me just close this one. You can see policies, you can see alerts, classifiers as well. So if you don't want to go in the information protection and create there, you can create here also your classifiers. Policies which we will be creating and their respective alerts will be there in the alert section, and the reports generated will come under your reports. Now we'll go in the policy section. When you come on the policies, now we'll create one policy. Now what kind of policy you want to create? Now, as of now, our agenda will be the Microsoft Copilot interactions and the AI agents. If you want to create, do for inappropriate content or inappropriate text, images, info type, regulatory compliance, conflict of interest, custom policy, you can go ahead. So first we'll go with the Microsoft Copilot interactions. Now, when you come here, you can see the scope. What was the scope? If you want to go for all users or you just want to create it for the selective set of users, you can give here. Now, who will be the reviewer? Now, I'm giving my name as a reviewer, so I am the mod admin. Yeah. So once we give it, we can scroll down what classifiers it has used. You can see prompt shields and protected materials. If you want to add your own custom classifiers, you can add it up here. If I click on the custom classifiers, I want to go with adult images. I want to go with, let's say, discrimination. Yeah, discrimination. I want to go with threat. Okay, let's say sexual, self-harm, and click on add. Once you add it, now these, on the basis of these classifiers, your prompt will be judged. Adult images, discriminations, prompt shields, protected materials, self-harm, and sexual. Now, if you scroll down, you can see the communication to be detected over the M365 Copilot. What is a percentage review? If you want to create this policy, create it. Now, once your policy is created, let it be done. Yeah. So it will take 1 hour to activate it. So let me close this one and refresh it. You can see the policy is there. Now what I'll do, I'll just go in the edit section and I will show you all these things. So the discrimination we have already seen. Now choosing the person on which whom you want to apply this particular policy, selective users, or you want to go with all users, or you are going with the adaptive scope. If you want to exclude any of the user, you can give its name and who will be the reviewer. Now, what will be the location? It will be Exchange if you are going with Teams, Viva, or any of the Gen AI tool. So you can add it by default. It will be going with Copilot. But if you want to go with others also, you can see Studio, Security Copilot. So Copilot will be considered because we are considering M365 Copilot. If you want to go with ChatGPT, you can go with here. If you want to go with Azure AI, you can go with here. Or if you want to go with all the AI applications, that also you can add. Once you add them, you can protect your employees or you can protect the data to be loaded on any of the GenAI tool. But for any other GenAI tool, first you need to go with Defender for cloud apps, register your application there, and then only you will be able to add ChatGPT. If you want to go with Claude, if you want to go with DeepSeek, Group, any of the GenAI tool, you can do that. By default, it will go only with the Copilot. Now, once it is added, for non-Microsoft applications, need to go with the connectors. Click on next. Now, what will be there? We have given all the classifiers. Now, if you are going with the OCRs also, you can go with the OCR. You can click on the OCR and it will be enabled. And if any sort of a discrimination or the data is leaked on the basis of these in the form of images, it will also be considered. If you want to add any other condition also, that also you can add it here. What will be the review percentage and what will be the blast. Now going on next and click on save. Now your policy is being created. Now it will take 1 hour to activate your policy. Once your policy is created, what we'll do, we'll go again in the solutions and we can see the compliance alerts. What will be the compliance alerts? Now all the compliance alerts, whether it be coming from your e-discovery, whether it be coming from your communication compliance, all will be registered here and you can see it, you can review it. If you want to transfer the alerts to Defender, that is also possible. So that is communication compliance. If I go in the e-discovery, yeah, here is the e-discovery. Now, when we come in the e-discovery platform, as I have already said that we need to create the case. Now we'll create one case. Now let me give it a name. Let's say data leakage. Okay. Now if you want to give the description, you want to give some advanced settings, you can give it. Now for e-discovery, you should have e-discovery premium. Otherwise, it won't be possible. Now click on create. Let it be done. Yeah. So your case is created. Now what data you want to search? So these are the 4 steps. Which data you want to search? What data you want to keep it on hold, what data you want to review, and what you want to export as a proof. So we'll go in the search and we'll give it a name. Data leakage. Let's say, okay, TCS employees or employee. Now we'll create the search. Now under the search, we'll give all the given details, the source, what data you want to search, where you want to search, and everything. Yeah, you can add the given sources. You want to go for all the sources within a tenant or the selective set, like I want to go on the email boxes and sites, or only the email boxes or the sites only. So what I'll do, I will go on all the sources in this particular case or the tenant. Now we'll manage this one. Now let's click on save. And now what condition you want, what data you want to search. Now you can add your condition, whether it's be KQL or whether it's be a date, time. If you want to go with sensitive info type, that will also be possible. If you want to go with sensitivity labels, that is also possible. What you need to do, just click on show more. Yeah, and here you can see. Let me scroll down. Yeah. Sensitivity type and sensitivity labels. So if you want to do that for sensitivity type or sensitivity labels, you can just select these options, click on apply, and what data you want to go with. Let's say I want to go with credit card. can add these things, sensitivity labels that it will contains or contains, and you can see all the labels are by default coming. So whatever labels are already created in your sensitivity label section, all these labels will come. So I'm going with confidential finance, and in the sensitivity labels, I'm going with credit card. Yeah, it's here, credit card number. Add these things. Now add to the review set. Okay, data source. Let me save this one. Yeah. Now we will export them, or what you can do before exporting them, click on add to a review set. Now you need to add who will be reviewing your details, who will be going through all the searches. So add that review set here. It will take some time. Let it be done. Okay, we haven't provided the name. Now, once it's done, you can go on the hold. Now, whatever sensitivity labels you have given, whatever sensitivity info type you have given, on the basis of it, if any communication is done, it will lock those communications. Then your compliance team or your respective team can go there, review it. If they want to export the data, they can export the data there. So it will take some time. Once it's done, you can go in the hold section, create the policy. Yeah. So your review has been created. Now, if anything will come up into the picture, it will be listed here. Now we'll go in the hold and we'll create one policy. Yeah. You can give the classifiers, you can give all the details here, and your data will be kept on hold. Now, if you remember, when we are creating the communication compliance, there was one term that was adaptive scope. Now, what do you understand by adaptive scope? Adaptive scope means it's like a dynamic approach. Now, how it will go? Let's say if any, I have given security team. Now, if any employee will come in the security team, will be the part of my policies. Whether it's be a DLP, whether it's be a insider risk, whether you are going with the communication compliance, anything. If let's say the person who will belong to Bangalore, they will be the part of this particular policy. So you can create its adaptive scope, and dynamically whenever you will any user will be added to that particular adaptive scope, it will be the part of that particular policy. Now, how you can create the adaptive scope? And now it can not only be the user, it can be a site also, it can be a location as well. So what we'll do, we'll go for that, we'll need to go in the settings. Now there you will be having the option of roles and scopes, and here we'll have the adaptive scope. Now we need to create the adaptive scope policy. Now first let's go on the creation. Let's give a name. I'm giving a sample only. We'll go on the next admin unit. Now, it will be a user, it will be a SharePoint site, or it will be an M365 groups. You can add it here. If you are choosing with users, go next. Now, what attributes? Now, if you what are these attributes? From where they are coming? They are coming from the intra ID. So when you any of the user is created or user creation is done, these all are the entities listed there. That's why we suggest everyone that whenever you create any of the user, please give all the details. Let's say I have given department. Now, in the department, I have given IT. Now, if any user is created and its department is ID, it will be the part of my adaptive scope. Now, for example, I have used this adaptive scope in the communication compliance. So automatically the user will also be the part of that communication compliance. Now we'll add this one and click on submit. Let this be done. So it will be under the full directory, like all the users will be there. If you want to give any sort of discrimination, you can give it name. We have given sample. The type which we have chosen is user and the query summary. And you can give all the details here. So this is the adaptive scope.
If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more insights on Microsoft AI, Azure and cloud technologies. See you in the next video.